Hey everyone, back tuning in to today's second video. We've already done a weekend forecast. You can find the video to that on the homepage, or the written version of the weekend forecast is on the written forecast page. This video is the March ENSO update. So we're going to have a look and see how things are progressing through the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. We're coming out of El Nino now, of course, as we know. So we're going to see how things have progressed over the past month since we did the last El Nino update in February. We'll also have a look at some models to see how things are predicted to develop through the spring and into the summer of this year. So it's going to be quite an interesting update. Hope you enjoy it. Before I get on with that, though, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all the pages. Have a browse widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. My eye's playing up a little bit tonight, by the way, which is why I'm probably squinting at the camera a bit. So yeah, there's links to articles on all the pages. Have a browse through widgets, click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks very much for doing that. There's video ads on those pages which open up the content when you watch them. They'll close back up again. It does help to pay for GavsWeatherVids.com. The competition has 24 hours left, so if you haven't entered yet to win this fantastic prize that GavsWeatherVids and MetCheck.co.uk Weather Instrumentation are giving away, all you have to do is go to competitions page. You can find a link to that on the home page. Go there, you'll be able to read all about competition, how to enter, that kind of thing. It's just a prize draw, so you just need to email your name and address to GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com, and that enters you into the prize draw. We will be drawing one person out tomorrow at random, and that person will win the prize. So just 24 hours left on that, so you haven't entered yet. Took a little while, but I will get on with it because you've only got one day left before we get our winner. Right, let's get on with the El Nino update. I'm going to start off with this chart, which we have been starting off with on many of the updates over the past few months. This is the cold and warm episodes by season chart from the Climate Prediction Centre, which is part of NOAA in the United States. El Nino on these charts is indicated by these red numbers in the boxes. I'm sure you remember this quite well. I have to explain it for anybody that is watching this for the very first time. So to get an El Nino designated, we have to meet a certain requirement or requirements. We have to go above 0.5 degrees above average as an anomaly for the actual part of the Pacific Ocean. Mainly region 3.4, which is the central part, and we have to do it over 5 tri-monthly periods. Well, we did that very easily with this El Nino. We started off right at the beginning of 2015 in the 3rd tri-monthly period, and it just strengthened through the year, became a very strong, in fact became a super Nino at the end of 2015. And we got a new red number in a box appeared. It's the first one for 2016. So this is for the tri-monthly period, December to February. So this is December 2015 to February 2016. And this came out at 2.2 Celsius as an anomaly above average. And this is a record for this tri-monthly period. The last time we had an El Nino event stronger than this El Nino was the 97-98 El Nino event, which is just here. And the tri-monthly period of December to February 97-98 came out at 2.1. There it is, just there. So this has actually beaten 97-98 for this particular tri-monthly period, can you believe? Just by 0.1 of a degree. Nevertheless, it has done it, and this is a new record for the tri-monthly period, December to February. However, I think overall, the El Nino that's just gone, whilst it is a super Nino, I think the 2015-2016 El Nino probably won't beat 97-98 overall, but it is very, very close to doing it, and even if it doesn't quite beat 97-98, my word, it is a very, very big El Nino event that we've just been through. Right, let's have a look and see how things have progressed in terms of these ocean temperatures over the past month. So this was the chart from NOAA in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies across the world, but we're particularly interested in the region through the actual part of the Pacific Ocean, just here from Peru to Indonesia over here. This is how things look when we did the last update. So this was generated on the 25th of February, and this of course is the signature of El Nino. You know this off by heart now, but it's this warm body of water that rises up through the equatorial Pacific Ocean from Peru to Indonesia, and when we get this warm signature, this orange-red massive colour appearing here across the equatorial Pacific, this is the signature of an El Nino event. So that's how things were looking in February. This was a weakening compared to the month that went before that, January. Let's see how things have progressed as we've gone through March. And you see that further weakening of El Nino has taken place. So go back to how things looked in February. There we go. Going back to March, quite clearly the sea surface temperature anomalies are lessening. They're lowering through this central part of the equatorial Pacific, and this is telling us that El Nino is still easing off. We've probably got enough warm water there, or warmer than average water there, to say that we're still in El Nino just about, but I think it really is coming to an end now, and within the next month or so we should more or less be back to ENSO neutral condition. Now, where do things go beyond that? This is really the dilemma that we've got as forecasters about where things are going to progress as we go through the summer, into the autumn, and then go through to winter of 2016-2017. One area that I look for to maybe preclude a cold event, and let's just explain what a cold event is. We'll go back to this chart. So we have the warm event, which is El Nino, and that's indicated in these boxes by these red numbers. I've talked about the requirements to get an El Nino event. A La Nina is simply a reversal of the warm event. So instead of having a warm event, you've got a cold event, and that's indicated by these numbers in boxes, by these blue numbers. Again, it's the same requirements really to get a La Nina as it is to get an El Nino, but instead what you have to do is go into negative territory. So instead of being plus 0.5 of a degree below average, you have to be minus plus 5 of a degree below average. And again, you have to do it over 5 tri-monthly periods to get this cold event designated. So we're going to be looking on these charts here, we're going to be looking to get blue colours rising up. Now you see that we have got these blue colours down here, and this is one of the areas that I look for maybe to preclude a cold event. So over towards the Chilean coast just here, and then go through this sort of area. If we get a lot of cold water just here, and it is cooling down. If you have a look at February, that's how it looked in February in this region. This is how it looks now. It is cooling in this area that I'm interested in. It's not cooling rapidly, but certainly these blue colours are expanding, which again, they're colder than average sea surface temperature anomalies. They're beginning to expand. Over next month, if we see things cooling down, particularly around here, that could be our precursor to start thinking about a cold event, about a La Nina. Also, of course, it's cooling up here in the northern part of the Pacific Ocean. Very rapidly, it's cooling down up here. So I think the Pacific is beginning to shift into a colder, or a much colder setup, really, across many parts of the Pacific Ocean. We don't yet have enough evidence to say that we're going to go into La Nina, but we're going to go into a cold event. But watch this space. I think very gradually we are beginning perhaps to see signs of going into a La Nina through the middle and latter stages of 2016. Let's have a look at these SOI. The SOI is an index, it's a Southern Oscillation Index, and it's reflecting the atmospheric setup in the Southern Pacific Ocean between Darwin and Tahiti. Darwin in Australia, Tahiti in the tropical Pacific Ocean. So, as with all these indexes, the NAO, the Arctic Oscillation, the North Atlantic Oscillation, they're all the same kind of idea, really. They are not drivers of the weather, they are reflective of the weather. They tell you what the weather is doing, if you like, or particularly what the atmospheric setup is doing, and then from that you extrapolate what the weather is doing. Now, when the SOI, when the Southern Oscillation Index is negative, and for instance here on this very first number that we see, minus 34.30 on the 24th of February, that is telling you that the atmospheric setup within the Pacific Ocean, in the Southern Ocean, is reflective of El Nino. So what's been going on over the past few months is that we've been generating very, very negative SOI numbers, and that really couples up, or it tells you that the atmosphere is coupling up with the ocean to produce the El Nino, because you have to get both the atmosphere and the ocean in sync together with one another, working synergetically. Try pronouncing that when you had a drink. Working synergetically to produce El Nino, and we've had a lot of this over the past few months, which is why we've had such a strong El Nino event. And even into February, we were still getting, when you expect the El Nino to be backing off, we were still getting these very, very negative numbers within the SOI. So minus 34, minus 25, minus 28, minus 30, minus 40, minus 49.10 on the last day of February. Quite remarkable numbers, really, going through the end of February, inside of March. A lot of negativity within the SOI, just telling you that the El Nino was going on, and the atmospheric setup in the Southern Ocean was very reflective of that El Nino. However, as we've gone through March, things have started to change. We've lost those very negative numbers, so we've gone more towards neutral numbers, if you like, through March. So 0.10, just plus 6.40, plus 9.5, minus 0.40, 0.20, 2.5, 4.8. So neither particularly negative numbers and neither particularly positive numbers, but a clear shift away from those extreme negative SOI numbers that we were getting at the end of February. And that takes us up to where we are right now. And quite interestingly, around the middle of March, we did get a burst of really quite strong positive numbers. So on the 15th of March, we went to plus 17, and on the 16th of March, we went to plus 21.9. Just for a couple of days, the atmospheric setup in the Southern Ocean began to get more reflective of La Nina, of the cold event. Now, that's backed off, and the very latest is that we've gone quite negative. Just on the very latest number, we've gone back down to minus 18.60. So again, the atmosphere once more in the Southern Pacific Ocean is reflective of El Nino more than anything else. But I think very gradually we are losing that extreme negativity of the SOI. And what I will expect to happen is that we'll get more and more positive numbers over the next month or two. And if we start getting a few weeks in succession of very positive numbers like these, minus 17 and minus 21, if we start seeing a lot of that through April and May, that could well, again, be another precursor to going towards a cold event, going towards a La Nina. At the moment, the atmosphere is kind of in between, I think. So it's neither reflective of El Nino, it's neither reflective of La Nina. But it's just kind of wavering around, sometimes going to El Nino, sometimes trying to back off a little bit. But if we're going to go to La Nina, if we're going to go to cold event, I think we will see much more positivity with the SOI over the next month or two. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on through the rest of the spring and into the early summer. Let's have a look at some forecasts then. I'm going to start off with CFS-V2, see what that's predicting for the ENSO region, go through to the end of the year. We should actually go through to 2017 with this. We've got January 2017 just over here. Temperatures, temperature anomalies on the side of the chart, dates are along the bottom. As always, this is where we are right now. So still pretty positive. Actually, we're just here, I think, in March. Still pretty positive with the El Nino region, but you see that the trend is very much to drop down. So by the time you get through to summer, the trend line, which is this black dash line, that's back into neutral territory. by the summer. It's not going for a La Nina, I have to say that. It's not going down to negative territory. To get a La Nina, you would want to be seeing those coloured lines and the black dash line going down into that sort of territory. However, the latest ensemble members, which are indicated by the blue colours here, these are the very latest ensemble members, a lot of those are going down into negative territory, and the red lines just here, these are older members of the ensemble, so these were probably generated a couple of weeks ago, and many of them were still more or less in positive territory. So I think the model could well be starting to shift into a more negative forecast, and of course negativity means a cold event, which means La Nina. So it'll be interesting to look at this next week. Next month rather. I would expect this black dash line, instead of being curved like this next month, to be doing something a little bit more like this, perhaps. And then the month after that, it may go more negative, a little bit more like that. And then the month after that, maybe going something like that. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But watch this space, because many of these latest ensemble members within the CFS V2 model are definitely trending things colder. Let's have a look at the ECMWF. This was the forecast from the ECM in February. This was generated on the 1st of February. Generally going towards neutral, maybe even slightly towards a weak La Nina was the general trend of the model last month. The latest idea, again, it's going for a cooling event to take place from where we are now, which is more or less just here. It's going for a cooling event quite quickly through the spring into the early summer. And now many members of this ensemble are going into negative territory. So I think the broad thrust of the ensemble is from somewhere here to here. And that is going down into negative territory. It isn't going for a strong or even a moderate La Nina. The idea at the moment from this model is to go into a weak La Nina, with the anomaly somewhere from around 0 to minus 1 in terms of that temperature anomaly through the central part of the Pacific Ocean. But it has cool things from last month. So again, if we go back to last month, that's the idea. Last month, the latest idea is this. And very gradually, month by month, it's going for a stronger switch to a cold event. And then finally, have a look at the Jamstech IOD. That's quite definitively dropping down into a cold event. So this is where we are right now, somewhere around here. The idea is the red trend line is going down towards neutral in so condition by July midday. It's on the bottom of the chart. Of course, then after that, it just cools things further. So by the time you get through to January 2017 into the first half of 2017, we're quite definitively into landing your visa with temperature anomalies on the side of the chart, and the overall trend definitely into negative territory. Not strongly into negative territory though. So the ECMWF and the Jamstech IOD are in broad agreement that we're going to move from El Nino, which we're still just about in now, to ENSO neutral by the middle of the summer, and then the latter part of the summer and into the autumn, we drop down into weak La Nina, a weak cold event. Neither model, I have to emphasise this, neither model is going for a moderate or strong La Nina at this stage. So the overall trend of all of this is that we're just going weakly into a weak cold event. CFS V2 doesn't even go that far, it just takes things back towards neutral. And the latest members, though, of the CFS V2 ensemble are colder, so watch this space, and it'll be interesting to see where CFS V2 is going when we do the April update. But I think the overall message from all of this is still very much as it has been over the past few months. My suspicion is that we are going to go into a cold event through the summer. Very hard to predict how strong that event will be. But at the moment, the idea is just a weak La Nina. and that's pretty good news, actually, if you want a cold winter. I'll say that right now. We want to be looking for a weak La Nina, get a cold winter for UK in 2016, 2017. That's the general idea from these models at the moment, but it's very early days on this, and we'll know much more as we get past the spring predictability barrier into the summer. So it's all getting very interesting. Anyway, we're definitely coming out of El Nino, probably going to shift into La Nina. Let's say no more than a weak La Nina at this stage, and let's just see what the direction of traffic is as we get through to next month. Right, tomorrow we're giving away the prize, we're giving away that thermometer, and also tomorrow we've got the first summer update as well, so it's all going to be happening for Easter Sunday at Gasworthy's. That's all for now though, and thanks for watching.